He was 19 years old, the most powerful person on earth. A living god worshipped by millions, covered in gold, buried in the most spectacular tomb ever discovered in human history. And for over 3,000 years, nobody knew the truth. Nobody knew that behind the golden mask, behind the legend, behind the most famous face in all of ancient Egypt, was a boy whose own family had destroyed him. Not with a weapon, not with poison, not with betrayal, with something far more disturbing. Something that had been happening in the Egyptian royal family for generations, hidden in plain sight, until modern science finally ripped the secret open 3,000 years after his death. In 2010, scientists ran DNA tests on Tutankhamun's mummy. What they found inside that golden boy's bones changed everything we thought we knew about the most famous pharaoh in history. This is the real story of King Tut, and it is far darker than any curse. When Howard Carter broke through the sealed doorway of Tomb KV62 in Egypt's Valley of the Kings on November 4, 1922, he saw something no human being had seen in over 3,000 years. An untouched royal burial chamber, completely intact, gold everywhere, chariots, thrones, statues. Thousands of objects arranged exactly as they had been placed the day Tutankhamun was buried around 1323 BC. And at the center of it all, a solid gold coffin. Inside 3 nested coffins. Inside a stone sarcophagus. Inside 4 gilded shrines. And inside all of that, a mummy wearing the most iconic object ever recovered from the ancient world. The golden death mask of Tutankhamun. The discovery made Tutankhamun the most famous pharaoh in history overnight. Not because of what he achieved in life. He ruled for only 9 years, from age 10 to 19, and left almost no significant monuments or military victories behind. He became famous purely because of what was found in his tomb. The golden mask, the treasure. The curse, which newspapers invented when several people connected to the excavation died in the years that followed. For decades, the world looked at that golden face and saw power. Wealth, divinity. Nobody looked closely enough at what was underneath it, until the scientists arrived with their DNA equipment. And what they found underneath that gold was not a god. It was a warning. Before we go deeper, if you want the real history that nobody teaches in school, subscribe right now and turn on the bell. I upload a brand new dark history story every single day. We are so close to 1,000 subscribers, and every single person who subscribes right now keeps this channel alive. 2 seconds. Subscribe, bell. Done. Now back to Tutankhamun. Because what the DNA revealed about his family is something that will stay with you. To understand what happened to Tutankhamun, you need to understand the world he was born into. The Egyptian royal family had a tradition that most people today find deeply disturbing. They married each other, not cousins, not distant relatives, brothers and sisters, parents and children. The closest possible blood relatives, married and producing heirs, generation after generation after generation. The reason was simple and completely logical by their standards. The royal bloodline was considered divine, the blood of the gods. To allow that blood to mix with commoners or even with other noble families was seen as a contamination of something sacred. So they kept it pure. For generations this worked, or at least appeared to work. The empire grew, the monuments rose, the pharaohs ruled, but biology does not care about tradition. Every generation of inbreeding, every marriage between close relatives increases the chance of genetic disorders. Recessive genes that would never express themselves in a normal mixed population get doubled, then tripled, then quadrupled. Generation after generation after generation of the same closed bloodline. By the time Tutankhamun was born, the damage was already done. The DNA analysis confirmed what scientists had long suspected. Tutankhamun's parents were brother and sister. His father was the famous pharaoh Akhenaten. His mother was one of Akhenaten's own sisters, her identity still unknown, referred to in the records only as the younger lady. A brother and a sister produced the boy who became the most famous pharaoh in history. And that single fact, that one act of royal tradition, wrote Tutankhamun's fate before he took his first breath. When scientists performed CT scans and full DNA analysis on Tutankhamun's mummy in 2010, they were not prepared for what they found. The Golden Boy, the divine pharaoh, the most powerful teenager on earth, had a body that was falling apart from the inside. He had a club foot. His left foot was severely deformed, the bones twisted inward, making normal walking extremely painful and possibly impossible without support. He had choler disease, a condition where the bones in the foot began to die and collapse due to interrupted blood supply. The scans showed bone necrosis, dead bone tissue, in multiple areas of his foot. He had a cleft palate, a split in the roof of his mouth present from birth. His spine was curved, scoliosis giving him a stooped, hunched posture that no amount of royal robes could fully conceal. His chest was malformed. His hips showed feminized bone development, a known result of severe inbreeding affecting hormonal development. And then there was the most revealing detail of all. Inside Tutankhamun's tomb, archaeologists had found over 130 walking sticks, 130 canes and staffs, many of them showing signs of actual use, worn at the tips from being leaned on. For decades, historians assumed these were ceremonial objects. Symbols of power. Royal regalia. The DNA and scan results told a completely different story. Tutankhamun needed those sticks to walk. The boy depicted in paintings striding confidently across battlefields, hunting lions, riding chariots, could barely stand without support. Everything the world had been shown about Tutankhamun was a carefully constructed image of strength that his broken body could never actually deliver. For decades after the tomb's discovery, theories about how Tutankhamun died multiplied endlessly. Murder, assassination, a blow to the head, a chariot accident, conspiracy by his advisors. The theories were dramatic. They were exciting. They matched the golden legend of a boy pharaoh brought down by intrigue and betrayal. The truth was quieter, and somehow much darker. The CT scan showed a fracture in Tutankhamun's left leg, just above the knee. A clean break. Relatively fresh at the time of death, the bone had not healed. For a healthy 19-year-old, a broken leg heals. It is painful and inconvenient, but it heals. Tutankhamun was not healthy. His immune system, already compromised by the genetic damage of generations of inbreeding, could not handle the injury. The wound became infected. The infection spread into the bone, and the DNA tests revealed one more thing hiding in his body: malaria, multiple strains of it. The most dangerous strain, Plasmodium falciparum, the kind that kills. Tutankhamun died from the combination of an infected broken leg and malaria, his body too genetically damaged to fight either one. Not murdered, not cursed, not killed by enemies or rivals, killed by his own DNA. Killed by a tradition his family had maintained for generations because they believed their blood was too sacred to share with anyone outside the bloodline. The most famous pharaoh in history was destroyed, not by the world outside, but by the family that created him. The golden mask of Tutankhamun is still the most recognized image from the ancient world. It sits in the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. Millions of people visit it every year. They stand in front of it and see power, wealth, mystery. Very few of them know what the face behind that mask actually looked like. A 19-year-old boy, club foot, curved spine, cleft palate, leaning on a walking stick just across a room, infected, malarial, in constant pain, painted on every wall as a warrior, buried as a god, and destroyed, completely and totally, by the very people who were supposed to protect him. This is what this channel is about, not the golden version, the real version, the version that 3,000 years of legend tried to bury along with the body. I research every single story on this channel completely, every source, every detail, every piece of evidence, so that you get the full picture, not just the famous parts. If that is what you came here for, subscribe and turn on the bell. New story every single day. We are almost at 1,000 subscribers. Every single person who subscribes right now is directly keeping this channel alive and making sure these stories keep getting told. Leave a comment below telling me which story hit you hardest. I read every single one. Next, we go to Dallas. November 22nd, 1963, the assassination of John F. Kennedy. And the detail about that day that almost nobody knows, that changes the entire story. That one is coming very soon. Do not miss it.